Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Listen, man. I don't even know what to think right now. You know what I mean? Now, I've heard, look. When I do my videos, I like to try to be objective. And sometimes I'll throw certain things out there to stimulate conversation, kind of drive dialogue, you know? But out of all the things that I've heard as far as Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, I really don't have much of an issue with it so far, at least until today. I've heard that, you know, the ill effects of the car accident could be showing up right now in Errol Spence. That's believable, okay? Doesn't mean that's why Crawford won, but that's believable. It could be some neurological damage. Somebody even said some of Errol Spence like he was high. You know what? I don't know if I want to believe that, but there are fighters who've gone into fights high, okay? Mike Tyson isn't the only one. But I just don't believe Errol Spence would do that. Errol Spence was dehydrated, lost too much weight during training. He had to cut too much weight off during training camp. He wasn't able to focus on training and getting the job done against Terence Crawford. See, now I can handle entertaining some of those conversations. You know what I mean? One thing that I haven't heard anyone say until today, and it came from Jermell Charlo, and then of course the bandwagonists are out there talking about Terence Crawford was hitting Errol Spence with some illegal shots. Then after that, I heard people talking about, yeah, Crawford banged Errol Spence's face was swollen up because Crawford was hitting him with elbows. And I'm like, what in the world? Now, when I came across this, I was out with my wife and kids. We were out there grocery shopping. And, man, I almost lost my mind, man. I mean, come on, Crawford won the fight, okay? Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me get rid of this, and let me go here, okay? Let me activate that, okay? Boom. All right, now you can see me, okay? Yo, listen. Enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? Enough is enough, man. This whole thing with not giving Crawford his credit, saying he's a dirty fighter, fighting illegally, fighting in the ring with illegal shots, basically doing illegal things in the ring. I didn't see that. What I saw was a very physical fight. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Errol Spence is a physical fighter. Let's not start talking about how being in such a toe-to-toe, mash-up, crash-up type fight was wrong, and Crawford shouldn't have been physical in the ring. Let me tell you something. If we're going to have that argument, you should have had that argument a long time ago with Errol Spence and his fighting style. Errol Spence is super physical. He gets that head down, man, he buries it in your chest. He puts that forearm into you, and he bangs with the free arm. You go to the right, he puts that right forearm into you, he bangs with the left. That's his style. I've said that in numerous videos, but you don't need me to tell you that. So to come now and say this, right? So now you hear the excuses about dementia, the neurological stuff, the drug stuff we talked about, the car accident, outgrew the weight class, or something else that came up, dehydrated weight drain. But this thing about being a dirty fighter, let me tell you something. It's not uncommon to get hit behind the head in a fight, okay? Especially when you get a guy like Spence who's dipping down, or they're both southpaws. So if Errol Spence throws that left hand like this, and he was over-committing, Crawford's standing there, he's throwing the hook as a counter. Sometimes it happens. But Crawford was using his arms a lot to keep Errol Spence at bay, to shove Errol Spence off of him. But what Crawford was doing a whole lot was parrying Errol Spence's jab and countering with his. That was all night. Boom, boom. That was all night. I didn't see a dirty fighter. I don't know what you guys saw. I didn't see a dirty fighter. I didn't see Errol Spence do anything dirty. I didn't see Crawford do anything dirty. I saw two guys in there who didn't want to give ground and were trying to find a way to win. And I'm telling you right now, what made the difference in that fight was that Crawford piston-like, missile-like jab, mule kick-like jab. whenever he hit Spence with that jab, Spence's head would go, I mean, it's like one of them Paz machines. His head would just snap back, and he would stumble back. Okay? But I didn't see Crawford going ludicrous in there and throwing them bows. You know what I mean? I didn't see that. And I think it's crazy that Jermell Charlo would come out here and say, oh, he was hitting him behind the head. I'm trying to understand what the hell is going on here. Crawford had a spectacular performance. I don't know if, like, that was Crawford's. I don't think Crawford can outdo that performance. Talk about the stars lining up. Timing, anticipation, everything just lined up. Every single thing lined up. How come we can't attribute Crawford's success against Errol Spence to Crawford being prepared? That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not a Crawford fanboy. I'm not a Spence fanboy. Matter of fact, that's my first, I'm using that word right now because somebody referred to me as talking about being a Thurman fanboy. Look, that sounds like young people talk, man. I don't talk like that. That sounds stupid. You sound dumb. Calling somebody a fanboy. You can't come up with a different word? I'm not a bandwagoner. Come on, man. Get your own vocabulary. That sounds dumb. But I'm just a guy here who's neutral and just trying to be as real as possible. I'll have conversations. I'll kind of poke the bear a little bit and be like, hey, man, something did seem off with Spence. Because it did. But I'm not going to say that's the reason Crawford won. But to say Crawford was fighting dirty. You know, I don't know. I'll tell you what. Spence didn't come out and say that. But you know what Jermell Charlo just did? See, this is, if you start creating content, this is how you break up a topic into 30 videos. I should stop this video right here and create another video and say, Jermell Charlo tells all, inadvertently tells all. Because what we're going to talk about right now is what I should say for another video, but I'm not going to do that. What Jermell Charlo did is he kind of gave us a peek behind the tent flaps of maybe the conversations that went on between Errol Spence, Jermell, Derrick James. Maybe Errol Spence is feeling like, hey, Crawford's a dirty fighter. Crawford was hitting me with some illegal shots. It was those shots behind the head that messed me up. Maybe Errol Spence feels like he's about to be a Pritchard clone. Maybe he feels like that. Now, I'm going to tell you, I watched the fight. There were some shots. Both of them were throwing shots, and when you're in a gunfight like that, yeah, things happen. But I didn't see Crawford intentionally trying to hit him, but I saw him as intentionally trying to counter him at every opportunity. Crawford would take not even a full step back, sometimes a quarter of a step back, just enough to turn over that straight left or turn over that right hook. That's what Crawford was doing, and he had his eyes on Spence. You know, once he hurt Spence in the second round, Spence started to unravel. It became very easy for Crawford to execute his game plan, especially counterpunching. You know, Spence was all over the place. His legs were gone, his balance was gone, his equilibrium seemed off. He didn't have any, his timing was off, everything was off. But don't come now, man, saying his timing was off because Crawford was hitting him in the back of the head. I mean, we got to stop that. But let's see what some of these people on Twitter had to say about it, okay? So someone says here, how can you watch that performance? Let me make this a little bit larger for you guys, okay? Let me go here, make this a little bit larger. They say right here, how can you watch that performance and be like, Crawford isn't spectacular? That was one of the best performances we'll probably ever see in the sport of boxing. It was so good he made the second best at 147, seemed lost out there, and showed the level between them, between the best and second best. Next guy says, easy, he's a professional elite boxer and you're not. Bud had a lot more to do with Earl's bad night than any punches behind the head. And I agree with him, man. Just give him credit. If he keeps coping like that, he's going to get hurt bad versus Bud when he comes back to 154. You got to acknowledge your future opponent's skills and train accordingly. Absolutely. One guy says Charlo on coke right now. Hey, they don't want to hear that. Look, man, which one? I agree, brother. If you check the clips, it also looked like Crawford had something in his gloves. Oh, my gosh, man. There go the glove thing, man. You know, people haven't let go. They haven't let go of the whole Evander Sean thing where Crawford and his gloves were just kind of, you know, just exploding. You know, so I don't know about that. But Crawford had loaded gloves. Look, man, like this guy says right here. Stop it. Be honest. If you didn't realize Bud was spectacular before he fought Spence, you need an eye doctor. Bud been telling people, look, that he beat Spence, all right? So it is what it is, man. And then you get this guy here who says, he pointed out before the fight that also Crawford did it against Vanacine and Porter. Each of his knockdowns, even against Porter, was from punches behind the ear with his wide looping hooks. Now, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you from me sparring, right? I've gotten hit behind the head with looping punches. It wasn't done intentionally. It's me getting low, coming in, leading with the uppercut to the body, trying to bang with the hook, and somebody who's trying to swinging kind of wild, and they hit me behind the head, man. I was fighting this guy. We were sparring. He was an MMA guy. He was like 6'4", right? Big cowboy. And the coach was like, hey, call me by my name. He was like, hey, man, spar him. I'm like, all right, cool. And I looked at him. I was like, yo, this motherfucker's 6'4", But I said, all right, well, we're going to see what he got. So anyway, he was typical robotic, real stiff. He was strong, throwing his jab, and he would throw his jab, and I was just parrying it, just catching it. So he threw his jab, I caught it, and bang with the left. He stepped back, and when I stepped in, he was throwing wide because, he wasn't skilled that much with the punching. And, my man was hitting me behind my head like crazy. And, we ended up like tussling, and I was like, yo, man, hit me behind my effing head. And the coach had to break up the sparring and get us to calm down because, it wasn't even about that no more. I was ready to hurt that guy. But what I'm getting at is, I don't even blame him because although the first couple of times was an accident, but when he repeatedly hit me behind the head because he was frustrated because I was getting in his ass. But at the same time, I don't really blame him because he didn't really know. He didn't really. I don't think it was intentionally at first, but then it was. But I don't blame him because he didn't really know what the hell to do. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at guys like Spence and Crawford, they know what to do, and I just don't think Crawford would do that. But also looking at it, I'm just not seeing that. Nothing being done intentionally. Crawford's almost every boxer I know, if they hit you and hurt you and throw a cleanup hook behind it, and they just happen to catch you, yeah, they're gonna try to push you down to ride your momentum to get you to get a knockdown. Look, boxing isn't a tickling contest. You understand? Anybody out here want to complain about Terence Crawford and Errol Spence? Oh, Crawford was too rough. Crawford fought dirty. Oh, his elbow hit Spence. And almost every fight, someone gets accidentally elbowed, forearm, headbutt. Badu Jack. How about Badu Jack? Who was he fighting? Marcus Brown? Was it Marcus Brown? That accidentally headbutt? Badu Jack had that guy like a 4-inch big old deep laceration on his forehead. So Marcus Brown's a dirty fighter. Come on, man. It happens in boxing. But I didn't see anything deliberate. I didn't see it. It's just all it's just I don't even want to use that word, man, but it's sounding like excuses. If you've been following my channel, you follow the videos I've been doing, I try to keep the conversation going about different things. I just did one about Keith Thurman, and people were like, oh, you're a Thurman fan. But no, I'm trying to have a conversation. But now you're getting how I really feel about things. This isn't me trying to have a conversation. This is me like, all right, enough is enough. Forget having a conversation. Look, Terence Crawford beat him. Simple. All right? It had nothing to do with anything. Doesn't matter Errol Spence looked the kind of way. At the end of the day, did Terence Crawford win? Yes. Simple. We don't even need to talk about anything else. But to hear this, and no, it concerns me most is did Errol Spence say that? Does Errol Spence feel that? See, because this is where we can have a third video. Errol Spence has convinced himself. Now, he didn't, I don't know if he said that, I'm just saying. If Errol Spence believes that, then we can have a third video. Errol Spence convinced that he lost because Crawford's a dirty fighter. I'm just saying, man. And if that is the case, boy, I feel sorry for Errol Spence going into a rematch with Crawford because he gonna get himself a serious, brutal wake-up call because Crawford didn't win that fight because he was hitting Spence behind the head, because he was elbowing him. That's not how come he won the fight, okay? And trust me, if that crap was going on, Derrick James would have been going ballistic. Would have been going ballistic in the corner. And I didn't see Errol Spence once take his glove and tap to the back of his head. Did anybody see him do that? Bend down, you know how they tap to the back of the head? I didn't see him do that. Like, yo, ref, you hit me in the back of the head. I didn't see that. But anyways, protect yourself at all times. But that being said, man, look, more to come. I'm just trying to see anybody else has anything to say about anything. I don't know. But I do know this. Errol Spence beats the hell out of Jermell Charlo in sparring, is my understanding. So maybe Jermell Charlo's looking at that. And Jermell Charlo has to learn this. You there for Canelo. Man, don't say nothing about Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. You know, you got to learn, when you get to that level, to listen a whole lot and talk very little. Even I had to learn that, man, you know, back when I was in the military. When you get to a certain point, especially the level I reach, you learn to listen a whole lot and talk very little. Because when you don't learn that, you get yourself caught up in a whirlwind of nonsense. And that's what he's caught up in right now, Jermell Charlo. He should have never said that. Him making that statement makes Errol Spence look bad. It does, because now you got some smart people out there who are saying, that ain't Jermell Charlo talking. That's what Errol Spence told him. And now they're looking at the fight and they're saying, you know what? Yeah, it looks like there was some dirty stuff going on. He was hitting him with some illegal punches. Not accidental, not just in the heat of the battle. No, he's a dirty fighter. That's crazy. We would never be having this conversation of Jermell. I mean, I wouldn't, because I didn't even think anything like that. But anyway, man, I'm going to leave it alone, man. Bud, to me, unquestionably looked spectacular. And I think people at this point can have conversations and everything like that, but I mean, kind of let it go. Unless something comes out, just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Just stop. Like, it's, even for me, I like to have conversations, but let me tell you, I am getting tired of this crap. Terence Crawford. Anyway, I can't even talk no more. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. Let me know if you think Terence Crawford is a dirty fighter. Because I'm telling you, I just don't see it. I just don't see it, and I just don't think so. Anyway, I'm in the breeze.